Greetings, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to the Kamado Joe cooking channel. Today we are going to fire up the Kamado Joe Classic and put together some rosemary and thyme smoked Italian meatballs. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start putting our meatballs together. I'm going to start out with a rather large mixing bowl here. I'm going to add 1/2 of a cup of Italian breadcrumbs, 1/4 of a cup of shredded parmesan cheese, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, it's a dried Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 egg that's been lightly beaten, and 1/4 of a cup of milk. And I'm just going to mix this all together. Okay, now that I have this all mixed together, we're going to start adding our meat in small bits. We're going to start out with 12 ounces of a bulk mild Italian sausage. This happens to be Johnsonville, so I'm just going to put that in there, and I'm just going to use my hands and I'm going to work that in. Mix that up real well, and after we get that mixed in, we're going to add a pound of ground beef, and I'm going to add it a 1/2 pound at a time and mix that in the same way. And as soon as I get that mixed in, we'll add the second 1/2 pound and mix it up as well. After I get all my meat mixed up with all our seasonings, I'm going to put it on a plastic cutting board here, and I'm just going to kind of flatten it out because we're wanting to divide this up into equal parts. So I'm going to try to form a bit of a square here. And this recipe is enough to make 16 decent sized meatballs. So we're going to cut this into 16 equal parts. And then we're going to form each of these into a meatball. Okay, I've got all my meatballs made. I've put these guys in a glass Pyrex dish. I'm going to put a lid on them, and then we're going to put them in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours, or even you can let them go overnight. So we're going to put these in the refrigerator, let these firm up really well before we cook them, and in the meantime we'll go fire up the Joe. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fire up the Kamado Joe Classic. I've got one Kamado Joe fire starter cube down here in the middle of my charcoal. I've got the bottom vent fully open, so we're going to light that cube up. I'm going to arrange a couple pieces of charcoal right over the top of that. We're going to let this burn here with the lid open for about 10 minutes. Okay, now that we've got our fire going, I'm going to set my divide and conquer flexible cooking system in place. I have the X-rack in the lower position with my heat deflectors in place, and I've got both grills in the top position. We're going to cook indirect, and we're going to cook at about 275 degrees. So I'm going to close the lid. I'm going to close my bottom vent to where it's open about 1.5 inches or so. And I'm going to close the slider fully on the top vent, and I'm going to leave the daisy wheel fully open until we get up close to temperature. And if I need to adjust up or down, I will close the vent if I need to slow it down, or I'll open the slider a little bit if we need to bring it up. So we're going to let the grill come up to around 250 to 275. While our grill's coming up to temperature, I'm going to do something a little bit different for smoke today. I've taken some aluminum foil and I've made myself a pouch, and what we're going to do is we're going to stuff several sprigs of fresh rosemary in here and several sprigs of fresh thyme. We're going to get our smoke today from the rosemary and the thyme. And when I get all that stuffed in there, just so, I am going to press it down flat, and I am going to fold over the top of this. We're going to fold it over twice. We want a good seal. We don't want that leaking at all right there. And then I'm going to take a small knife and just poke 2 slits in that, just like that. And when our grill's up to temperature, before we're getting ready to start, I'm gonna lift the divide and conquer cooking system back out. We're gonna set that pouch right on top of the fire before we put our meatballs on. Okay, our grill is almost up to temp, so we're gonna take our smoke packet and set it right on top there, and then we're gonna set our divide and conquer flexible cooking system right back on top. And then we'll get our meatballs, and you know what time it is.
Let's put that bad boy on the grill.
Okay, we're gonna put these meatballs right in the middle of the grill. I'm gonna line them up together. And we're gonna cook these guys at 250 to 275 until we get about 160 degrees in the center. So we'll be back to have a look at these things closer to time when they're ready. Okay, Joe fans, we've been going at this for right at about an hour, man, and these meatballs look fantastic. They smell fantastic. So I'm gonna get these off the grill. We're gonna take them inside. We're gonna plate some up with a little bit of pasta, and we're gonna have a taste. Okay, I've plated 2 of these meatballs up with a little bit of rotini pasta that I made with some cheese sauce. So let's have a taste of this. It's looking and smelling outstanding. Okay, I'm gonna take one of these meatballs here, and we're just gonna have a bite of that. Wow, man, that is really delicious. There is a very light kiss of smoke here from that rosemary and thyme packet that we put in the Joe. It's a really beautiful smoke flavor. I've never tried smoking with herbs before. I'm definitely going to try this again with some other things. It has a beautiful flavor, and the sausage and everything else, you can actually taste the Parmesan cheese in that. It's really delicious. You guys are going to have to give this a try. Let me know what you think. Leave us a comment on the video. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/KamadoJoe, and follow us on Twitter @KamadoJoe. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Kamado Joe Cooking Channel.